If you have less than 24 hours before you leave Peru and you want to do something fun, a little adventurous, you want to be in the middle of nature, then you should really consider doing a full day tour of Paracas and Ica in the south of Peru. I recently did a full day tour of Paracas and Ica for like the millionth time at this point. I've been there so many times, it's not even funny. And this full day tour is something that I really recommend for you to do to see a little bit more of Lima, of its diversity, because I know a lot of you be coming here just for Machu Picchu, and that's all you do here. You come here for a week, and that's all you do, and you don't get to see as much of the other amazing stuff that Peru has to offer. So if you only have about 24 hours left, then I really recommend that you go do this because you get to see the desert, you get to see these special protected islands that we have that have all of this wildlife, and it's just a really fun and good experience. You get to try pisco, you get to do a number of things on this trip. Oh my god, my intro. Listen, if you're new to my channel, my name is Steph. I love giving travel advice to people coming to Peru so they stay safe, so they have the best experience possible, and so that they get to really experience Peru authentically. Because a lot of people be showing just like the best parts of Peru all the time, and they don't be showing like the nitty-gritty kind of sketchy stuff of Peru. And I just reveal it all because I just share all of it, okay? Peru is not no Instagram account where you're just showcasing your best pictures, your best sides or whatever. Like, no. Peru has a little bit of everything, and I be sharing all of it. Back to the topic of this video, I already shared a little bit about my full day tour down to the south recently in the vlog video that I did of me traveling around Peru with my brother. If you haven't seen that yet, I'll pin it up here for you to watch. And if you caught my last video where I shared with you different coupon sites that you can use to save a little bit of money while traveling, I will link that video up here as well for you to catch later. But I booked this full day tour through one of those websites as I shared in that video. And I want to give you some additional advice, tips, recommendations, suggestions for you for this full day tour, just like I did when I covered the Lagoon 69 trek and the Lagoon Paron tour in Ancash, Peru. Those videos will also be linked up here as well. For these trips, you are definitely going to need a hat, sunglasses, sunblock, and maybe even a light jacket potentially, because you might get cold when you go to the Paracas Reserve. If you book a full day tour with one of the companies that I suggested in my last video, then you're probably going to get picked up around 4:30, 5 or 5:30 a.m. However, if you book your full day to Ica with a company that specifically caters to foreigners, such as the people from here, this is a pamphlet that I got from the Tourist Information Center in Miraflores, and this company offers full days to Ica as well. And here on the company's itinerary, it says that they pick people up at 5:30 a.m. and that the cost for this full day is $129. So with companies such as this, you'll get picked up between 5:30 to 6 a.m. And the reason that you get picked up so early is because it takes 3 to 4 hours to go from Lima all the way down to Paracas. And you want to try to get to Paracas as early as possible because the tide starts going up, and then the weather conditions are just not favorable anymore for the boats to go out to the different islands to see the animals and the different things. So you want to try to get there as early as possible so that you have good weather conditions and you can go out and do your tour. The Ballestas Island tour typically lasts between an hour and a half to 2 hours long, and once it ends, you'll be given some time to go around the little shore areas where you initially got on the boat, the dock area, whatever that strip is called, and you'll be able to just visit local souvenir shops in the areas to buy some souvenirs from Paracas or some chocolates or whatever else that they have to offer in the area before you take your bus to your next location for lunch. You're going to be taken to restaurants that serve typical Peruvian food and will especially have dishes that are very popular in the area. So if you are vegan or vegetarian, you probably won't have options to eat there other than maybe French fries or a very boring salad. I would definitely recommend that you take some fruit or some other snacks or things that you can take with you so that you have something to eat when you're there. In my case, I got really lucky, or maybe it's just the fact that I'm a lucky unicorn, but we got taken to a restaurant that had a couple of vegan and vegetarian options for me. So I was really grateful to have something to eat other than French fries or a boring salad. And my brother's lunch included sopa seca and carapulcra, which are typical dishes of the region. When I have gone on full days to Paracas and Icas in the past, typically at some point during the afternoon, we go and visit a pisco distillery. Pisco is a hard liquor that originated here in Peru, and we often will go to a pisco distillery to have a show and basically have the presenter who is sharing with us all these different pisco drinks just entertain us, make us laugh, make us say funny things. And the people get to try the different piscos and just get a little drunk, a little happy. And this time around, in my most recent trip with my brother, we got to do the show right after lunch. And then after that, we went further south to the Huacachina to do the dune buggies. However, during other itineraries, sometimes you'll do the dune buggies first and then you'll do the pisco distillery afterwards. It just all depends. Like for example, here on their itinerary, it doesn't say that they take you to a pisco distillery, so I don't know if they actually do or not. They might include it, but it just doesn't state it here on the itinerary. Some other full day tours of Paracas and Ica also include a horse show. I have never done one of those, but there's just different variations of what this full day to Paracas and Ica can look like. Like I said, after lunch, we went to the Huacachina. We immediately went on the dune buggies and we went around and did the sandboarding for a while. And then we came back to the Huacachina, to the oasis, to walk around and explore the oasis. However, other variations of this can be that you first go to the oasis and you explore and walk around, and then you do the dune buggies. If you use the coupon websites that I mentioned in my last video, again, it's linked up here, but if you did use those websites to book your full day tour, then you have to pay for the Paracas Reserve boat tour and the dune buggies separately. So that's an additional cost. It's usually around like 45 soles per activity. So that's 90 additional soles that you have to take. However, in tours like this, it says that what you're paying for has everything included. So I'm assuming that that does include your dune buggy and your Paracas Reserve tour experience, except it does say here it does not include lunch. So lunch is separate for you. Once you get done doing all the activities you're there to do at the Huacachina Oasis, that is when it's time for you to leave and get back on your bus to come all the way back to Lima. So you're probably going to leave Ica around 6 p.m. in the afternoon, and you're going to arrive back in Lima around 10 or 11 o'clock, probably 11 o'clock at night. Here is why I made some of the recommendations that I made at the start of my video. You need a hat and possibly a light jacket, because when you visit the Islas Ballestas Reserve in Paracas, okay, there's a lot of birds around there, and if your boat doesn't have one of those little covering things to cover the people that are sitting inside of it, then you're gonna possibly get pooped on, and you don't want that getting your hair dirty. And on top of that, it can be really sunny, so you need to protect your face, and you need the light jacket because when the boat is going at full speed, depending on how the weather is that day, depending on how early you get there and the conditions, it might be a little bit chilly for you. So you want to have a light jacket on so you don't get cold. I also recommended sunblock because when you're doing the tour of the Islas Ballestas in Paracas, okay, depending on how bright it is that day, if the sun is really bright and that light is shining down on the water and maybe you don't have a covering for your boat thing, then the sun is going to be coming down hard on you and you might get sunburned. The sun out here don't play, people. So that's also why maybe you need a jacket as well, is to protect your skin potentially, or so that you don't get sunburned. You need the hat, you need the sunblock. Listen to me. But the sunblock is especially important because when you go to La Huacachina Oasis and you're in those dune buggies and stuff, the sun out there is blazing, depending on how early you go out there and what the weather is like when you do visit. So you need to protect yourself. And I recommended the sunglasses because when you're on those dune buggies and you're going around really fast at full speed and the sand is just like flowing, blowing all up in your face, if you don't have some kind of protection for your eyes, those little bits of sand are going to get in your eyeballs and you're going to be hurting, or you're not going to be able to really appreciate the sights because you're over here like squinting, trying not to, have the sand go all up in your eyes. So this is why you need the sunglasses. Listen to me. Get your sunglasses. A final recommendation that I want to make is that you take quite a bit of extra money with you on this full day tour, because you'll end up spending money that you hadn't anticipated spending. My brother and I knew that we were going to have to pay out of pocket for these extra activities on the day tour that we wanted to do. So each tour was about, I think, 45 soles, and it was 2 activities per person, right? So 45 plus 45, that's 90 per person, right? So that was 180 soles that we took. And we knew that we were going to need some money for lunch. So we took, I think, maybe 300 or 400 soles because we were like, okay, this is like enough for what we're going to do there. We just need money for these activities. We need money to eat. And that's all we really need. However, what we didn't anticipate is that there are going to be all these other things that we would want to buy or that we would need money, cash money for. and we ran out. So practically at the very start of our trip, we unexpectedly blew through a lot of our money because after the Islas Ballestas tours, we hung around the little different souvenir shops, and my brother found this poncho that he really liked, and it was so beautiful. Like, I really loved the color on it, and he wanted it, and I was like, dude, you got to get this. Like, when are you going to see this poncho again? When are you going to have time to get this? Like, I don't know if I've seen a poncho like this in Lima. Like, get this now, plus it's probably more affordable here than it is in Lima, so you got to take advantage of this. So even with the discount, it was originally 130 soles. The lady gave it to us for 110. She offered of her own free will this discount. We didn't even ask her. She was like, I can give this to you for 110. So my brother and I, I was like, listen, you got to get this. It's 110. You're saving 20 soles. Go for it. And he got it. But then we barely had any money left after that. Lucky for us, the restaurant that we went to eat at, they accepted like card payments, like credit cards, debit cards. So we were able to pay for our meal with that. However, once we did the pisco tasting show, at the end of that, you get a chance to buy different pisco bottles, different liquor bottles, based on the things that you try during the show. And my brother wanted to take some, and we didn't have any more money. So lucky for us, they still accepted payments to buy the liquor bottles. So my brother got a bunch of different bottles. I think the total came out to be like 210 soles for all the different bottles that he took. He took like 6 different bottles back with him. And each pisco bottle, I can't remember if it was like 40 soles or something like that. Like, he took some bottles worth 20, others with 40. So it just depends. But he ended up spending over 210 soles, and he just used his card to pay for that. Oh, and I almost forgot, back in Paracas when we got his poncho, there was this lady selling like chocolates and little things, and we got some little chocolates and stuff for my grandma, and we spent like an extra 15 sodas there. So these things, they start adding up. So anyway, after our dune buggy activity, when we went back down to the Oasis to just walk around before actually getting back on the bus on the way back to Lima, we barely had enough money to get ourselves our little popsicles, our little marcianos, and we got that. But then we both had to pee, and we didn't have any more money left, and we couldn't pay the bathroom lady because apparently over there in La Huacachina, you have to pay to use the bathrooms, and we didn't have cash money to pay the bathroom lady, and she didn't accept no form of electronic payment. Like, you either had cash to use the bathroom or you didn't use it at all. If memory serves me well, the lady was charging like 2 soles per person to use the bathroom, which is heinous in my opinion. 2 soles to use the bathroom, like, what in the world? You would think it would be cheaper down there to use the bathroom because it's outside of the capital, but apparently my tour guide told me that like water is really expensive over there, especially to keep the areas like the water going in the bathrooms and stuff like that. So anyway, it's because of the water that it costs 2 soles. And anyway, the bathroom lady had mercy on us. I managed to have like, I don't know, 1 sol 60 or something like that. I was short like 40 cents or something, and I was like, please, this is all the money we have left. Can my brother please go to the bathroom? And she was like, okay, fine. She let us get in to use the bathroom, but then I needed to pee. And I was like, I don't know if I can hold it for this next 5-hour long ride back to Lima. My tour guide, God bless her, she was so awesome. I was like, girl, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm on my period. Like, I got to go. And she basically came through and helped me out. She talked to the lady. She was like, yo, can I pay you electronically? Like, we have these local electronic things, kind of like Venmo in the US or whatever. She was like, can I pay you? And the lady was like, no, I don't accept that kind of payment. It's either cash. As a tour guide, I think she's allowed to use the bathroom for free or something. So she was like, yo, like, I'm a local guide. Can she use the bathroom in my place? And the lady was like, finally reluctant, but she was like, okay, fine. And she let me use the bathroom for free because we didn't have any more monies. So this is what I'm talking about, is some of these day tours might not be that costly, but when you're actually on the tour, all these other things start adding up and you start spending money you hadn't anticipated. And for some things, you need cash money here. Okay, no credit card, no nothing is going to get you out of it. You got to have the cash. So this is why my tip is to make sure you have some extra money. Keep an eye on it. Don't let it get stolen or don't get yourself robbed. But you have to have some extra cash for all of these extra unexpected things. That's basically it for this video. If you got some value out of this, please let me know by giving this video a thumbs up and dropping me a comment down below, as it helps my channel and helps me to reach more people with this information so that they can benefit from it and be sufficiently prepared for their own day tours to Ica and Paracas. To stay in touch with me, you're welcome to join me on TikTok and Instagram. You can find me there as Evolving with Stef. My social media links will be in the description of this video. And as always, stay curious, keep traveling, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!